Hello and welcome back to Your Biz, Your Rules. Now, today I'm going to dig into one of my very favourite topics of the moment, and that is Instagram. More specifically, how you can start making more waves on Instagram and getting your business out there. Okay, now I'm not going to go into why I love Instagram and why I think it's the thing and why it's my favourite place to hang out, because you don't want to know that. You want actionable stuff that you can go away, implement, and get great results from. So let's get straight stuck into that. Now, the first thing is all about your bio. Your bio is naturally the first thing that people will see when they click through to your profile, isn't it? So make sure that that space is optimized and really, really focused on what you want to be sharing with the world. I see so many people that say nonsensical, whimsical things, and I just think, oh my god, what are you doing wasting all of that space? Nobody wants to know that you are a dust-gathering, wanderlusting moment lover. Nobody wants to know that, and nobody is searching for that. If you are a photographer, if you are a business consultant, if you are a lipstick manufacturer, if you are a beauty blogger, whatever you are, make that clear in your bio and make it clear how that's relevant to other people. Like, why should they follow you? Do you provide great recipes for people? Do you provide inspiration? Do you offer coaching to a certain kind of service provider? Think about not only who you are and what you do, but who you are trying to attract and what you actually want them to get from you. And with your profile picture, for the love of God, don't have your logo, have your face. Just have your face, please. And then obviously you've got that link space in there, so take advantage of it. Include at least one link. I actually have multiple links. I use a free tool called Linktree, which allows you to put multiple links in your bio. So I think I have a link to my website, one to my podcast, one to my Content Arsenal group program, and I feel like there's something else. Maybe there isn't. Maybe it's just those three. So take advantage of that link space, because you don't just want to grow Instagram for the sake of growing Instagram. You want to get some sort of conversion out of it, whether that's building your email list or making sales or sort of solidifying relationships. You want something out of the content that you're creating. So pop those links in there and start getting the results that you're after. The second thing that people will be looking at are your posts themselves, so your photos, your grid, and you want them to really look like you. Like, just have a think about what your what your business style is. So if you're using filters, like, pick one or two signature filters that you use all the time, so that, like, if somebody's looking at your grid, it looks like it was created by the same person. Because I'm not saying that because a lot of the advice I see out there is that people should be able to look at one of your images and know it's yours. I don't think that's always necessarily realistic, because we all follow so many different people. Like, yes, you'll recognize some people and you'll see their face on things and the name on things, and you'll know that it was created by them. But when you're scrolling through the feed, you won't necessarily know that. But when you're looking at the grid as a whole, you can really see how disjointed things look when people have a whole bunch of different color combinations and a whole bunch of different fonts and a whole different bunch of styles and image types and screenshots and things that just don't go together. It's fine for variety. I love variety, but you want some sort of consistency there. So even if, for example, you curate a whole bunch of quotes on your Instagram feed and they're all in different fonts, they're created by different people, they're in different styles. If you could say have the same colour palette in all of them, so if they were, say, all pink and white or all black and white, someone would look at your grid and it would feel like it goes together. It would feel like it was created by a real person with a real brain. Does that make sense? Because like I said, I absolutely love variety on Instagram. I'm not one of those people who has an Instagram feed that looks like a chessboard with an image then a quote, an image then a quote, or a branded graphic then a selfie, a branded graphic then a selfie. it, like, for me, that just feels too clinical and too neat. Like, I quite like the sort of accidentally but not accidentally random look, if that makes sense. And in fact, I actually have a planner that might be able to help you with this. So I've got a free planner that you can use that's just filled with prompts of different images and different captions that you can use on Instagram. So I'll pop that in the show notes so you can check that out. It's just for that little bit of inspiration to make sure that your feed is really as on point and as creative and as fueled by your personality as it possibly can be. Another tip that I would give you is to use a scheduler to schedule out your Instagram posts. And the reason being, like, I'm not saying you have to do this months and months in advance. You could do like 3 days, 5 days, a week in advance. But the benefit of using a scheduler is that you get to see what your images will look like side by side. So you get to design a grid that you actually like the look of. It's not just accidental or not totally random. My scheduler of choice is Planoly, which I think is free for 30 images a month, and then it's about £6 a month for unlimited images. So depending on how much you post, it's worth having a look at that. I love it because it's like you can just like drag and drop your images around to really curate the perfect looking grid for you. Okay, so we've touched on posts, but I also want to talk about the captions that go with those posts. My biggest tip is to create long form captions, because you want people to be staying on your post for as long as humanly possible. The clearest way to do that is to give them more to read. So put together almost like micro blog posts to go with each of your images. Now that sounds like a lot of work, right? Especially if you're posting 4, 5, 6 times a day. My biggest tip, stop posting 4, 5, 6 times a day. Post once a day. Just share one really good Instagram post every day. All of those supplemental bits that you want to be posting, stick those in your stories. So if you've got those like little quotes that you want to share, or those random behind the scenes moments, those spontaneous things that you really want to share, pop those in your Instagram stories rather than in your main grid, because honestly, that's how you're going to get the best results. If you can just post one like grid post in a 24-hour period, you actually get better interaction overall than posting multiple things, because people are more likely to actually take the time to comment if it's a well thought out post than just like scroll and maybe give you some hearts. So just have a think about that. Now, I don't want to really delve into the world of hashtags too much, because I feel like that's a separate conversation. There's a lot of sort of thought and research that goes into picking the perfect hashtags out. What I will say is that the rules with regards to hashtags has changed, so you can still have up to 30 hashtags with every post. However, the advice used to be to put those in the first comment, because it would stop your caption from looking spammy, but you would still show up in the search results. You no longer show up in the search results if the hashtags are in your comment, so make sure they're in your caption if you actually want to get traffic out of those hashtags. A big thing that I feel needs to be talked about more is interaction on Instagram, because I mean, it's a social platform, it's not a broadcasting platform. You need to be responding to the comments that people leave for you, and not just with a thanks or an emoji. Like, actually take the time to respond properly to the people who have taken the time to leave their thoughts for you. And don't get me wrong, I know that we all get those spammy comments that are clearly left by bots, that are just a random emoji or a totally unrelated comment, and that is annoying. So I usually just give them a heart and move on from those. But with the people who leave their thoughts, actually take the time to respond with a comment, and try to make it a comment of 4 words or more, because that gives you Instagram brownie points. I also want to encourage you to interact on other people's posts. So take the time to like scroll through your feed and like things and comment on things, again with 4 words or more in your comments. And if you feel like that's something that just feels like too much work, or it might take too much time to do, just challenge yourself to maybe like and comment on 3 posts a day or 5 posts a day. Just set yourself a little target and do that, and you will actually see how much more traffic you start receiving. So I did a little experiment where every day for just 1 week I went and I liked 10 posts, and then I commented on 10 different posts, and I did that every day. And I think I boosted my following by about 100 people in 1 week, which is insane, you know? And now that wasn't necessarily a sustainable number for me, because like I have a really jam-packed to-do list, and going and like leaving people 10 long comments every day, it just felt like a lot. But if you start with maybe 2 or 3 a day, you really will see that boost in interaction, that boost in engaged followers, and you'll create a feed that feels so much less like the only people who are paying attention are the robots, because nobody wants that. It can make you feel like really just frustrated, and like everything you're doing is pointless when the only interaction you get back is like a random fist bumping emoji from a total stranger who is so completely unrelated from what you do or who you help. Okay, so we've talked about amping up your bio. We've talked about making those posts really big, juicy, and effective. We've talked about how to up the engagement a little bit on Instagram. Now I want to talk about Instagram stories, because I know I've been yammering on about stories for ages now. Particularly if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see that I've been all up in the stories. The thing is, Instagram stories are your opportunity to get creative and to have fun with the content you're doing, because it's less curated and formal, and it's just a little bit more silly. Like, you can get the GIFs in there, you can like do little doodles and handwritten notes, you can just have fun on the fly, and that's what your content should really be about. And that's something that I've been saying for years, is that your content should feel fun. No matter what you're creating, you should feel like you want to be creating it. It shouldn't feel like a chore. And for me, Instagram stories actually really bring that to the mix. Now, I resisted Instagram stories for a good long time. I really did. I thought they were kind of boring, because a lot of the stories that I saw from people that I was following, they just seemed so dull. They really did. They just seemed like people were just going out for dinner or going for walks and just sharing pictures of it, or little videos of them going for walks. I'm just like, yeah, okay, we all go for walks. I don't necessarily need to see this all the time. But that all changed for me when I took Alex Beaden's course, Gram Slam. It really just, like, something just twigged in my brain. I thought, oh my god, like, I can actually have fun with this. Like, this is something that I can be a bit wacky with, and I love any opportunity to be a bit wacky, let's be real. So I took Gram Slam, and within about 24 hours, I'd been chatting with my friend Emma, and we were like, let's do a story every day challenge. So for the whole of April, we've done stories every single day, and today's obviously the last day for that. But if you head over to my Instagram profile and look in the highlights, you'll see all of these like really eccentric, varied stories that I've been creating over the past month, and really experimenting with the different like tools and the different techniques and just different ways of expressing myself in a way that sort of boosts my business's profile. Because that's the end game here. The end game is to really sort of amp up the way your business is showing up online. So if you are interested in playing around with Instagram stories and you haven't really delved into it yet, I really encourage you to listen to the interview I did with Alex a couple of weeks ago. I'll pop the link to that in the show notes, but she shares a few really good tips for getting started and getting a little bit more confident. And I'll also pop the link to Gram Slam, which is her course on the topic, in the show notes, because like I said, that for me was the thing that really sparked my interest in creating stories at all. So yeah, I mean, there's so much you can do to help your business stand out on Instagram, and in fact I think I might do a follow-up episode where I talk about a few more little strategies that I've trialed and got great results from. But I don't want to make this one too long. I want to make it really actionable, so you can go away with your list of homework and instantly see the difference. So speaking of homework, you're going to refocus your bio. You're going to download my Instagram planner, so you've always got that little backup stash of ideas of things to post. You're going to be more discerning with the images and captions you choose to put out there. You're going to use Planoly or an alternative to schedule your posts out every single day, so you've got the consistency working for you. And we all know consistency is the name of the game. You're going to make sure you're putting the hashtags in the right place. You're going to actually interact both on your posts and on other people's posts. And you are going to maybe just think about turning up your Instagram stories game. So what do you say? Are you in? Are you ready to make Instagram your bitch? Okay, that's it for today. I would love to see the changes you make to your Instagram profile. So feel free to hop over, follow me, and leave me a comment just sharing your big takeaways from this episode. I would love to talk to you more about Instagram because, like I said, it's my favourite thing right now. So without further ado, TTFN, have a great week. Thank you for listening to Your Biz, Your Rules. I hope you enjoyed listening to this episode as much as I enjoyed creating it. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about weaving personality into your business, please feel free to hop over to my website, darapaddy.com. That's where you'll find all kinds of resources and all kinds of inspiration for just being a little bit more you online, because it is possible.